Hello and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to talk about what's in my bag. And because apparently on YouTube there's this trend of people going on YouTube and talking about what's in their bags, and I'm like, how interesting could a person's bag be? But then I found myself addicted to some of these videos. I'm just kind of like, you know what? Maybe I should make a video about what's in my bag. Now, I believe good infrastructure means absolutely everything. It's like if you have to write tools to do the job, you're going to do the job better. But sometimes I run into the dead end of because I'm a, self-proclaimed technophobe. Sometimes I stick to the analog stuff way too much. So this is my current system that I'm working with, which is kind of like a good blend between analog and digital. So without further rambling, let's get started. Starting with the boring stuff. This is a Moleskine notebook that I just picked up from the bookstore because it's just a nice notebook. It feels nice. They recently, I believe, Recently, I believe they upgraded the paper to actually, Moleskine had this big problem of if you use a fountain pen on a Moleskine, the ink is going to bleed through to the next page. So I ended up just writing on one page and then leaving a page, writing on another page, and then leaving another page. But recently, I don't know why, but the problem disappeared, and I think they updated their paper, and right now, this is the perfect notebook for me. It is a little expensive, but I'm like, hey, if scripting videos and writing out insights is my bread and butter, I rather invest in something that's really useful. Closely related, this is the Pilot Disappearing Nib fountain pen, and this is my weapon of choice. And this is the only pen that I really own. I have a bunch of other fountain pens that I have in my bedroom, but it's just this is the one that I carry around with me all the time. So this little baby here, it stayed with me for over 2 years, and it is still functioning like a battle tank. You cannot go wrong with this thing. God, I feel like I'm selling you something. It is fully built out of metal. This is like a pen that you see maybe in a spy movie or something to have a hidden, I don't know, cyanide capsule in here or something, but it is just one of the best writing experiences you'll get out of this pen. And the thing that I like about it is that it actually functions like a ballpoint pen, but a fountain nib actually comes out at the other end. So for me, it's wow, this is a perfect blend of the nerding me that's really into fountain pen and, keep up with the Joneses, keep up with the present time. You need something that's more functional than a capped fountain pen. So if you're looking for a good fountain pen, I'll link this baby in the description down below. So I'm going to link everything in the description down below so you can go check them out if you like them. A less boring item, which is still kind of boring, are these Japanese sort of plastic flags. If you've seen some of my Instagram posts or my stories or something, you would have noticed that my books are essentially tabbed out. They're just full of tabs, full of colored flags, because I tend to like to color code everything that I've read, every underline that I've had in philosophy books or in literature. Because, well, studying a literature degree, reading and interpreting text, that's your bread and butter. But these things are absolutely brilliant. I used to use the cheap Officeworks, sort of just a J. Burroughs, I believe, plastic flags. But this is certainly a very nice upgrade. The color no longer fades, it doesn't drive me insane, and it's just really easy to use with these little tabbing system that they have here. I'll make a dedicated video about how to tab your book in the future and how to note take on a book. So that's in the works, so stay tuned, and well, let's move on to the next item. The elephant in the room here is perhaps the bag. And I can't believe I didn't address this bag at the very start of this video, but this is a bag that I simply picked up from, I don't know, the local flea market. And in Melbourne, we have a very local sort of market community, Queen Victoria's Market. And every Sunday or Saturday, I believe, or every Wednesday, they hold these little stalls. And these stalls, they just sell some of the cheapest crap, but they're just some of the best quality. So yesterday, I went to the flea market and I got myself this new bag. I don't know the brand. Don't ask me the brand. If you have a flea market, well, pick something up from the flea market because they're usually locally produced and the leather quality is really nice and it smells really nice. And it's not going to fall apart. I mean, unlike the previous satchel. My problem is that I tend to carry around 20,000 books in my satchel. And this is what happened to the strap of this one. It's really coming apart. So I'm I can't risk, this band snapping on me when I'm on a tram. So I've decided to find something with a little bit of a metal, sort of metal hook that hooks the strap on the back so that I don't really have to worry about this thing coming apart for the next 2 to 3 years. And it's also just a good looking bag. It has all the compartments in there that I need for my laptop, for my tablet, for my tabs, for my books, and it is a fantastic bag. And moving on to the next item, but before we do that, there's a bit of a story that I have to tell you. Last semester alone, this is perhaps 2% of my printing that I've done last semester. I spent like maybe $200-300 just on printing alone last semester, because I have this terrible habit of like sticking with analog all the time. I don't like to read papers on a computer because I can't really mark them up. I can't really highlight them, nor could I tab them. So I ended up printing out some, thousands of pages, hundreds of thousands of pages. And this is basically a solid nightmare. It's a nightmare to archive. It's a nightmare to review. And it's a nightmare sometimes to even read, because look at how small Jesus Christ. Look at how small the font is on this paper. So this is The Purveyor of Truth by Jacques Derrida. So this is like a 100-page paper. So this thing right here is I'm probably holding up $10 right now. So yeah, not a very good permanent solution if I want to keep doing this academic thing. If I want to keep engaging with academic texts, or if I want to keep doing this academic work, I need a permanent solution. Introducing the remarkable Tablet 2. I really sound like I'm trying to sell you something. So this is a toy that I recently bought myself with I think it's called the book folio thing. It doesn't come with a pen. The pen costs extra, which I was just kind of like, dude, you're literally doing the same thing as Apple is doing. But this essentially is a paper tablet that stores like all of my academic readings, or all of my weekly readings, papers, in this little form factor that simulates the feel of paper. But then again, there's a really nice organizational system on here that I can just store. For example, this is like semester 1, Irish literature, week 1. And then there it is, the first essay by Jonathan Swift that we have to read before classes start. So over here, I can just mark it up. I can just, annotate it. I can even tab it. So when I'm working on a paper, for example, I can just cite the thing straight away from this little tablet. So I don't have to worry about like digging through my bag and finding the paper and then dragging the paper out and trying to like find the exact page number. And this syncs across all platforms, to my MacBook, to my iPhone, and syncs to the very tablet itself. So I can actually just drag file onto my computer and then offload it onto this thing so I can read it on this thing. If you guys want a review of this tablet, I'll make a review after a week of using it at university. So semester starts next week. So a week later, I'll probably make a review of this thing, because currently it is kicking ass. It is so rewarding to write on this thing. It is so rewarding to store all of my papers on this thing and to kind of like have fun with this thing, because it is a dope looking piece of technology. Next item, super boring. It's the MacBook Pro. I think it's the 2019 or 2020 model, actually. I've had this laptop for a while. It does all the work of editing and capturing audio right now, and that's basically where all the magic happens. That's like that's my second brain, essentially. That's the brain that takes away all of my brain power. And we don't really have to talk about the MacBook, because I think if you know what a MacBook is, I don't have to explain it to you anymore. And last but not least, I typically carry around 2 books with me. And here I'm trying to read because I'm taking a unit in Irish literature and another unit in metaphysics and ethics as a philosophy unit. Just a bit of an inside look. Turned out we're not reading Ulysses for Irish literature. I was rereading it for the past week. But then, the syllabus came down, and I'm like, holy shit, we don't actually need to read Ulysses. But instead, we're reading Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. So this is a beautiful edition as a gift from a very special person. I'm gonna tab the crap out of this one. I'm gonna annotate the living hell out of it. And this is probably the 3rd time that I'll be reading this thing. So reading a new edition, reading it with a pencil in my hand, with a bunch of plastic flags too. So I'm gonna really dig into this one. And for ethics, I did some of my own pre-readings. I decided to dig into Deleuze's monographic study of Spinoza, because I read Spinoza years ago, and I did not understand a thing. But Deleuze did a really good job at illuminating some of the insights of Spinoza that I didn't really think about before. Warning, this is by no means an easy read, because well, Deleuze in himself is very hard to read, and took me about 30 pages of summary notes to really get a handle on what this guy's on about, what Deleuze was on about, or what Deleuze was on about, what Spinoza was on about. But I'll make a dedicated video for summary notes, because I think it is actually like one of the best ways to summarize what you've read, to remember what you've read, and that's gonna come to you pretty soon. And I think that concludes our What's in My Bag video. Nothing interesting. I don't have elaborate setups. I don't have anything crazy. I like to keep things very simple. For me, practicality is everything, and simplicity is everything. So that's all I have. And you can find all the products in the description down below, and I will probably catch you. I'll definitely catch you in the next one. RC Walden here, and have a good day. Goodbye.